Michael Clement. My name is Michael, and I am said Michael Clement, also known as Mindful Michael, if you are interested in checking out anything that I do besides the yoga and meditation that you're hanging out with me here at Breakout doing. Words, anyway. So, if you want to check that out, you can check me out at Mindful Michael on Instagram, Michael. And yeah, it's a good time. So today we are going to be grounding ourselves, because right now I think there's a lot that's happening energetically. There's a lot that's happening astrologically. If you hang out with me, you know I get into that. And in all of that, it's important to use our practice to ground us and let us really arrive and settle into our bodies. So today is going to be about that grounding, that arrival, and then some hip opening and a little bit of hip stabilizing too. Overall, my intention is to keep it a calm, flowy class, nothing too crazy. I will say I've got some blocks with me and I'm gonna be using them. If you don't have a block, you can use a big book for when we use stability. And then if we're using anything for, we're gonna be using it for some alignment cues, you can also take a towel and just roll that up. You would fold it over probably a couple times and then roll it up. And then, yeah, so we'll get into that in just a moment. I want to give it another minute before we get started. So yeah, I will say we're going to start standing. And I do have a folded blanket here. We're going to need that because we are going to be working low to the ground. And that'll be nice to have that extra padding around. I do have, oh my God, it's like long ways right here. I want to make sure that the upper body's in the frame before we get to the ground. So let's start to stabilize. Let's begin. Actually, I want to see if I can get me a little bit further away and tilt, because I do want you to see a few things going on with the feet. That will work with that. Cool. All right, you get a little bit of both. Okay, so I'm gonna have my block nearby because we are gonna use some alignment cues in a little bit, but I want to let us get grounded and stabilized, because you can even tell my energy is still a little flustered. It's just kind of part of the day and part of the process. So let's use the middle of the day, middle of the week to arrive and settle. So as you come to your mat, we're at the back of the mat, my feet are parallel. I'm gonna soften in my knees and really focus on letting my feet relax into the ground. So if you've done this with me before, you know that this is how we get grounded and rooted. What I'll have you do is start by flipping the toes up towards the face. So really make sure the feet are below the hips here. With the toes up towards the face off the ground, I want you to start rocking around a little bit. Start to teeter and totter. What you're doing is you're taking your center of gravity and you're moving it over the edges of your base of support. So this is calibrating the balance. It's helping your central nervous system understand where it is in space. So it's helping the whole body start to calm down a little bit. So while you're doing all of that, notice the extremes of where you can go. You can feel in each foot, there's 4 points in each foot that help you stabilize. I want you to move around, feel that shift. And then can you start to bring your center of gravity into equal support between all 4 points in each foot. So it's gonna be a little further back than what you're used to. You'll notice that the low back is able to drop. You'll notice the low abs gather up just naturally towards the face. And if you're doing it right, you might even feel this little rebound in the space back behind you. Notice how there's this sort of catch. If you fall back a little bit because you went a little too far, it's okay, but feel how there is that support back behind you. So this is a nice comfortable space to be. Can you soften into this? And now we're gonna melt the toes down into it. So think of your toes as reaching long like roots into the earth. We start with the outside toes, progressing to the ring toes, the middle toes, and as you reach them long, you're sort of grab onto the earth with all 10 toes. Feel how that suctions the feet to the ground. Notice how your energy is able to stabilize. Can you relax all the way down into the low belly as you inhale? And on your exhales, can you let everything settle from the neck, the shoulders, all the way down through the ribs, through the hips, through the legs? Can you feel and press through the inside edges of the feet and the outside edges of the feet? Gather the glutes, and can you press into the ground to stand so tall? Hands come high overhead, big inhale. As you exhale, wide to cactus, press the feet into the earth. Nice wide heart and elbows. Shoulders down away from the ears, still gathering low abs up. Inhale, hands high overhead. Exhale, we twist open to the right. Hips stay forward. We twist open to the right. Pressing into the ground, feel that lift all the way out the top of the head. It relaxes the shoulders down. Inhale, hands high overhead. Exhale, take it over to the left side. Keeping the hips square to the front. Press into the earth, big inhale. As you exhale, we're going to swan dive, forward fold over. Keep the feet suction, bend in the knees. It's nice. So from the bend in the knees, what you're going to do is let your heart rest on the thighs. This is going to open up the back of your lungs and relax down the back of the neck. Softening all the way through the top of the head. Big inhale all the way to the low belly. And as you exhale, how can you get softer into this fold? Honor if you need the bend in the knees. I need it today. My hamstrings are tight, but it's still letting me release my body. From here, we're going to take chair pose. So sit the hips back, swing the arms back, arms come overhead, squeeze the glutes, press the feet. Nice, easy power pose. So while I'm squeezing in the glutes, I'm growing my ribs out of my hips. It's widening through my back body. It helps me lift. Big inhale into this. As you exhale, press yourself to stand. Okay, so now this time. Take your block if you've got it, or a rolled up towel. If you don't have either of those things and you don't want to fetch them right now, just repeat the same process as before, okay? But if you have this with you, I'm going to place this between my inner thighs. So what this is doing is creating space for my hips. I'm thinking of the inner plane of my thighs as spinning back towards the wall behind me. That's getting my alignment all the way up in my lift through my hips. It's letting me lengthen out my low back. So I'm going to find the same thing as I did before. I give a little bend in my knees so I can get my feet into alignment now with the block and my hips. And with that, I'm going to find that center of gravity, that center point where I'm balanced between all 4 feet. Then I'm going to let myself lock into the earth. So from here, I'm pressing strong. I'm letting myself lift nice and tall. Big inhale, hands high overhead. Keeping the block squeezed. Feel how you gather the tailbone down, lower abs up, cactus arms. Inhale, press the feet in the earth, hands overhead. Exhale, now you'll really be able to stay square with the hips. Exhale, opening into that right twist. Big inhale, hands high overhead. Exhale, twist over to the left. Big inhale overhead. And as you exhale, this time we're going to sit into chair pose first. So as you sit into chair pose, feel how you have to gather those inner thighs and spin them down towards the ground. It gives you lots of length. When you look down, make sure you can still see your toes. If your knees are in the way, stick your butt back a little further. I guarantee it'll feel better. While you're here, are you breathing and are you relaxing the jaw? Big inhale, wide spine. As you exhale, hang on to the block, take your forward fold. Maybe this time you lift the hips up towards the sky a little bit more and you get into the forward fold from it. Inhale, we'll take a halfway lift, bend in the knees if you need it. Nice flat spine. As you exhale, belly button to spine, drape over about it. Another big inhale. And from here, we're going to walk out to plank. Keep a hold on that block if you like. When you get out to the plank nice and long, feel how that forces you to spin the inner thighs some more. You lengthen out of the heels, out of the crown. As you exhale, press back to the down dog. Let yourself soften. And when you're ready, you're going to lower down the knees and lose the block. And then find yourself in the down dog where you can shred it out. I'm going to adjust my camera down a little bit because now we're coming down to the earth a little bit more. So while you're pedaling through the feet, I'm going to keep this nearby. While you're pedaling through the feet, relax in the jaw, relax in the soles of the feet, relax through between the toes, through the arches. Letting yourself pause and breathe into anything that's tight. This is the most luxurious part of your practice. Taking a big inhale in. As you exhale, lower the knees wide, toes to touch. Find your child's pose for just a moment. Let yourself settle in here. So while you're finding your grounding, I want you to relax into the low belly. Feel how all of this can pour between the thighs towards the earth. Finding a big inhale into the back of the heart. Exhale, melt in all directions. And from here, we'll start to empty out. Walk yourself over to the right side edge of the mat. Exhale, hip gets nice and heavy. Big inhale all the way through the rib cage on the left side. Exhale, soften the jaw, soften and melt. Inhale, walk yourself through over to the left. Long spine as you go, as you exhale. Soften in the crease of the hip. Big inhale, opening. Exhale, softening. Walk yourself back to center. And exhale, release. So taking a moment, we'll inhale, bring ourselves up to hands and knees and open up the spine through movement. So get your hands directly underneath shoulders. We do this every class always. It's healthy for the spine and it's good for you. Anytime you're feeling stiff, this is a great way to start your day actually. Hands and knees nice and easy. Inhale, sink the belly low. The weight of your breath pulls this. As you exhale, press your hands, belly button to spine, lengthen the back of the heart and neck. Inhale, sinks low. Exhale, pressing, let your own breath start to take over your pace. Let this be you and everything that you need here. So feel how you lengthen and extend the end points of your curve. So as I lengthen out of my crown and out of my tail, it deepens the curvature. My breath starts to guide it. It helps the spine open. So get into the side body when you're ready, scooping the rib cage around, moving your spine like a jump rope. Feel any creaks and cracks. If you find a stiff spot in the spine, breathe into it. Pause there and use the breath to expand. Your breath is one of the best tools in your toolkit in yoga. So it will help you if you guide it to the places that need it most. So switch directions if you haven't done so already. Focusing on relaxing behind the eyes, behind the jaw, behind the throat space. And start to move the spine freeform. Let yourself go any which way you would like. Letting your breath guide and let it be adventurous. Maybe you close your eyes and you stop caring about what it looks like. You can shift your weight around, sitting down towards heels, maybe out past the hands. This is one of those points in yoga where there is truly no right or wrong, and that's freeing and beautiful. Sometimes there's wrongs, but this isn't one of them, so let yourself ease and open as needed. When you feel content and you've had enough, let this movement start to peter out like ripples in the water. Feel that nice, easy, floating breath and roll the shoulders on the back of the heart. This should widen the collarbones. You'll feel how the shoulder blades become like a plate of armor behind the heart space. Just like in chair pose, we'll lengthen hips and ribs away from each other. As you inhale, you'll tuck the toes under. As you exhale, you'll hover the knees 1 inch. Gather the energy up and in, widen out the back body. As you inhale, we'll walk out to that plank. And exhale, let's press it back to the down dog. We'll take 3 breaths here to stabilize. So imagine you still have that block between the inner thighs, spinning them back behind you, breathing all the way up through the hands into the hips. Exhaling down the backs of the legs. 1 more round of that breath. Full exhales out, let everything settle. And from here, we'll bring in our first chaturanga. So you'll inhale, come forward to your plank, that high push-up position. As you exhale, you're gonna lower down knees, then your chest, elbows in tight, and your chin. Inhale, grow up through to your first upward dog over the tops of the feet. Gather up through the quads to keep the hips lifted. Shoulders on the back of the heart. Exhale, lift the hips. Coming over the tops of the feet, find the down dog nice and chill. Breathe in. Full exhale, release. So from here, you're going to soften in the knees, walk the hands in, or walk the feet in towards the hands, find the forward fold at the top of the mat, bow easy. We'll take the chair pose, sit it back, sweep it back. Nice and chill. So pressing into the ground to get that lift all the way out the hands. As you exhale, bring the hands by the hips, shoulders on the back. These are airplane arms. We'll get those again later in class. Press into the earth, inhale, gather up overhead, hands meet high. As you exhale, twist open to the right, hips stay forward. Inhale up tall. Press through the feet, exhale, twist open to the left. Inhale, lifted. Exhale, we'll swan dive forward fold, bow in nice and easy. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back, bend in the knees if you need. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to your plank. Inhale, nice and long. Exhale, lower down, knees, chest, chin. Roll through to the upward dog, big inhale. Exhale into the down dog. From here, you'll inhale, foot the right heel up towards the sky. Just lengthening out, press through the hands to lengthen out of the heel, reaching out of the hip space, but keep the hips square towards the earth. As you exhale, you're gonna bring this knee forward. It comes to a 3-legged push-up. Step the right foot between the hands. Lower the back knee down. Untuck the toe, come on up nice and tall. So just nice and easy, big inhale here. As you exhale, we're sending into the front of the hip. For a nice easy crescent, you can have hands on the thigh or on the hips or overhead. Big inhale here. As you exhale, ease the length out of fingertips and toes. Last inhale, big in. Exhale, come to frame the front foot. You have a nice easy lunge. Tuck the back toe under. From the lunge, you're stepping the back foot in to meet the right. You're in a forward fold at the top of your mat. Take the chair pose, sit it back, sweep it back. Just a little more heat to gather. And as you exhale, press yourself up to stand tall. Good, inhale, hands high overhead. As you exhale, twist open to the left this time, hip forward. Inhale, nice and tall through center. Exhale, open to the right. Inhale, lifting tall. Exhale, take your chair pose, sitting it back, nice and chill. Big inhale here. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to your plank. Final chaturanga through, big inhale. Lower down knees, chest, chin, come through to your upward dog. And nice and easy, find the down dog. So this time we'll take the left side. Inhale, take the left heel up, reaching.
Press through the hands to lengthen out of the heel. Feel that reach out of the arch and the ball of the toe. And on your next exhale, draw it forward, knee to nose, three-legged push-up. Plant the foot between the hands. Lower the back knee down, untuck the toe. Come on up. Big inhale here as you exhale. Send into the front of the hip. Ooh, that was a good pop. Inhale, feel this length. And if you have the arms overhead, feel the length as you exhale out of fingertips, toe tips. Feel that soften. Sending tailbone down, gathering up through the front of the body. Feel the suspenders on. Inhale. As you exhale, forward, fold, or bring your hands to frame the front foot. Tuck the back toe under, find the lunge. From here, we'll step the back foot to meet the front foot. Nice, easy forward fold. Take the chair pose, sit it back, sweep it back. Nice, beautiful length here. As you exhale, take the arms to airplane. Squeeze the glutes, press the feet, inhale, gather up. As you exhale, let yourself find twisting open to the right once more. Inhale, come up through center. I almost changed my mind for a second. As you exhale, twist over to the left. From here, inhale, hands high. Exhale, sit it back to chair pose. So bring the hands to heart center. From here, we're going to start to pour the weight into the left foot. Once the right foot is free, it's going to reach low and long and find us in a nice high lunge. So from here, each of my feet has its own individual hip that it's in line with. It's like I'm on a set of skis versus trying to be on a balance beam. Drive through the ball of that foot. Feel how that sends energy all the way up the top of the head. Place the hands on hips so you can feel the suspenders on, so the hips are coming up towards the face instead of arching in the back. You want the tailbone down. Pull up through the front of that hip flexor. From here, all we're going to do is frame the front foot. Lower the back knee down, untuck the toe. If your knees are sensitive, this is that point when I think you should have your padding, because you won't need it. And I'll tell you why, because you're going to come on up. Big inhale in. As you exhale, we're coming into that crescent once more just to open the front of the hip. Give yourself a place to be. Just chill for a sec. And then we'll frame the front foot. You're going to take that back shin, spin it to be parallel with the short edge of your mat, and you're walking yourself around for Peter Pan pose, as I like to call it anyway. So from here, I want you to place your hands in front of you on the side of your mat. While you're here, this leg is moving straight out to the side. Knee is tracking over the toes. This is a stretch for the inner thigh. I want you to walk your hands over as you bring your hips towards the front of your mat. Now, be conscious of what's happening in this knee tracking over, and you're using your hands to keep too much weight off this inner thigh. Again, if it's really tricky and funny, sometimes these spaces are really tender. The inside of this knee here might not be great for you. If so, I want you to back up off of it a little bit and use pressing the outside and inside edge of the foot into the earth to help open the hip. That can be your stretch here, because that's a pretty nice one. And then from there, you can use this to ease in. So my hips are in line with this knee. It's like a half frog stretch over here. And I'm soft through that back ankle and toe. Relaxing through the jaw, pressing strong. I keep a positive relationship with the earth, with my hands. I don't want to have any release here or anything. Feel how this energy discharges out of you. Let it soften into the earth. From here, we're going to ease up out of that stretch and come back on up nice and tall here. So from here, this leg lengthens out to straighten the top of the foot, reaching the toes, lengthening into the ground, almost like tree roots. I'm going to grab my block, or if you have a book nearby or any sort of thing you can put some weight on, I'm going to place it right just on the inside edge of my thigh because I'm coming to gate pose. So I keep this inside edge here. I'm going to use this connection of my forearm against my leg to help me stay in this side plane. My right arm comes up and over, so I'm pressing down into the earth through this knee. I'm using that length to get out of both sides of my waist. And this is one of my faves. So it's all about being in the side plane, squeezing that back glute, feeling that length. This can get into the front of the hip is where I feel it the most. Keeping the breath moving through. As you exhale, let yourself come back on up. You're going to re-bend in this knee, and your hands come to the earth when you walk out of the way. So let yourself readjust, bring the foot back in if you need. You're walking around to the front of your mat. The back shin returns to parallel, so you're in the lunge. From the lunge, I want you to prep yourself. Make sure that you're in individual skis again, and we're coming back up through the lunge. High lunge, arms come overhead, big inhale. As you exhale, see if you can slide that back heel down and get a little deeper into your lunge. Hands can come to heart center. From here, can you take the right elbow, place it outside the left thigh. From here, we'll go palm to palm. You're reaching out of that back heel, out of the top of the head. This will bring you into a closed twist. You'll press into the hands and turn over your right shoulder or your left shoulder. Keep an inhale long out of the heel and crown. And as you exhale, let yourself deepen. So if you don't want to use the elbow on the knee, you can place the hand down and pull it this way, just taking a nice wide open twist. I don't know why I didn't give you that first, and then, shame on me, yoga teacher. All right, so from here, frame the front hands, or frame the front foot with your hands. You're going to step the back foot in. Give yourself a forward fold, nice and chill here. Take a moment. You're going to release the elbows. Give yourself that hook and give yourself the easy sway side to side in ragdoll. Soften in the knees if you need it, or maybe you can enjoy this. Imagine you have the block between the thighs, the inner thigh spinning back behind you. That length you would get out of the low back, out of that. Relaxing and letting everything drain out of the top of the head. It resets you. When you're ready, you'll release the hands. You're going to bend in the knees, root down through the heels, through the pelvis, and slowly roll up. Take 3 breaths to rise. Your exhales melting down into the earth, feeling like a cloak that you're shrugging off when you reach the top. Shoulders will roll up by the ears. Big inhale. As you exhale, let it all settle easy. And let's do side 2. Okay, feet are parallel, hip width apart. Sit it back, sweep it back. Take your chair pose. As you exhale, hands come to airplane here. Press into the earth, hands gather overhead, big and tall. As you exhale, twist open to the left. Left hip sends forward so you stay square. Inhale, opening nice and tall. Exhale, twist open to the right. Big inhale, coming up tall. As you exhale, slide back to that chair pose. Hands come to heart center. From here, you're pouring the weight into the left. You reach to the right foot. The left foot releases. And you reach low and long behind you. You come to a high lunge. In the high lunge, you have legs hip width apart. Press through the ball of that back foot. It sends all the way through the top of the head. Relax the shoulders down, nice and chill. From here, your hands come to frame the front foot. You lower the back knee down, untuck the toe. From here, we're coming into our easy crescent like we found on the first round. Nice and soft through the low back. Using these idea of suspenders on, drawing all the way up through through the hip tips, all the way up to the shoulders. Let that soften here. See what can open if you relax. Between the toes, through the sole, the foot. Just let it all out the body. Relax through the ears, the jaw. From here, frame the front foot. Spin the back shin to be parallel with the short edge of your mat. And we're coming to our Peter Pan pose, facing the left side of our mat. From here, what we're going to do, let's see, how do I do this in the first time? How do I want to do this? Oh yeah, this is how we did it, okay. So what I want you to do is let yourself soften for a minute here. Place your hands right in front of you. You're going to keep driving into the earth with this outside edge of the foot and inside edge, keeping the knee tracking over the toes. All you're doing is shifting the hips towards that front foot. This is the half frog happening through the right side here. So I want to make sure my hips are in line with the knee and I'm not asking too much of my body. I'm listening for where is enough. If I have a tendency to let the knee fall in like I just caught myself, I need to be driving through this glute outside all the way down into the outside edge of the foot. That way I can take all the stretch at my pace, strong connection with the earth while I do it. When it feels good, you can start to ease out of this, walking yourself back up, finding that nice, strong Peter Pan position first. This is a good time for that block. You'll bring the block to the inside edge of this leg. Let it lengthen out, lengthening out the tops of the toes, the tops of the feet into the earth, reaching like roots. From here, I'm placing my hand on the inside. I'm using the forearm leg connection. I'm driving down into the earth with this left knee, into the ground, squeezing the glute, pressing. I reach up and over through my torso. I use this connection to open out. I'm thinking of my rib cage rolling open so I can get some sunlight on my face. Feel that length out at the top of the head, shoulders relax out away from the ears, relaxing through the jaw, through the eyes. Feel how this opens out through the hip, through the side body. Lots of things connected here. Driving into the earth, feel the length, reaching out of the hand to rise back up. You place the left hand at the back of the mat, reach the right hand up and over. Feel this length for stargazer. Pressing these the left limbs into the earth, spreading the right side body open. And as you exhale, you're going to bring yourself back on up, reaching nice and tall. So rebend this leg, let yourself soften into the knee. You're walking your hands back around, spin the back shin, let yourself find that lunge position. Make sure you like your alignment with your feet and your hips because you're coming on up for the high lunge once more. Drive through the ball of the foot. Feel how that sends energy out the top of the head. Then as you exhale, slide the heel deep and down. Hands come to heart center. Relax the shoulders on the back of the heart. Softening the jaw. Let yourself stabilize. Big inhale here. As you exhale, hands come to frame the front foot. You can peel open for the twist, hugging the inner thighs together. Or from here, the elbow comes on the left side to the outside of the right thigh, pressing palm to palm. I'm reaching out of the back heel and out of the top of the head. That's my axis. And I press for the twist. I'm very gentle with this. My inner thighs are hugging together. That helps me stabilize. Notice my little wobbling. I could fix that if I hug my hips together and lengthen out of my spine. Ooh, I got a good pop too from it. And when that's enough for you, let yourself gently release out of the twist. Hands frame the front foot. Step the back foot to meet the front. Bow in nice and chill. So from here, toe heel the feet outside of mat width apart. Relaxing in the forward fold, you hook the elbows and you're going to sway. Nice and soft, nice and easy. Relaxing through the eyes, through the back of the neck, through the throat space, through the chest. Let it all drain, let it all be easy. So from here, release the sway, release the hands, you shake the head no. Now the head yes. Roll it around maybe so. Bending in the knees, curl under in the pelvis. Root and rise, take your time, pressing into the ground, lots of breath. Letting the spine relax and float itself. Feeling how it stacks when you reach the top, shoulders up by the ears. As you exhale, let it all settle. Okay, so from here, let's see, how do I want to progress this? Okay, all right, so from here, we're gonna take ourselves in the mountain pose at the top of our mat. Feet are parallel. Let's take the chair pose, sitting it back, hands at heart center. Keeping active through the glutes, pressing down through the heels. You're pouring your weight into the left side. As the right foot frees, it reaches low and long behind you. We're coming to that high lunge. Nice and chill. Press through the ball of the foot. Feel that lift, hands high overhead. As you exhale, slide the heel. Can you deepen? From here, hands come onto that airplane mode. So shoulders on the back of the heart. Feel that locked in. So now you have behind you this really cool shape. It's a kite shape. It's the back of your hands, back of your head, and the back of your heel. So get your upper body in line. This kite shape, as it widens, it will get lighter. You're gonna kick into the left foot like you're kicking into the earth, like it's a wall out in front of you. As you widen, you're gonna bring yourself forward. Trust, drive into the heel, squeeze the glute, and let yourself find airplane. Widen in all directions. That's the key. Your hips are hugging together. You've already done all the action necessary. And notice, I'm not pushing my leg all the way to straight. Yeah, I gotta wobble. Yeah, I gotta shake. But I'm driving and I'm flying, baby. And when you're ready, let yourself release the upper body. You're in a forward fold with the leg back behind you. Guess you're lowering down to that low lunge this time. So lower the back knee down and untuck the toe from here. We're gonna reach the hips forward. Let ourselves come back up to Peter Pan. So spin the back shin so it's parallel. So right foot over here in this situation, parallel with short edge. Left foot hoisted, ready to save some kids. So from here, hands come down to the earth. We're gonna walk ourselves forward. Bring ourselves into that stretch once more for the inner thigh, half frog. Driving through that back glute through the outside edge of the foot. Bringing the hips towards the earth as feels gentle and comfortable for you. From here, we're gonna straighten back up. Bring the hands with you and come on up through Peter Pan. We're gonna skip gate pose for this. Lengthen out the front leg. And bring your right hand to the back of the mat. Take your stargazer. So I'm reaching through the tops of my foot, through the top of my left foot, through my left hand, driving nice and long through the body. And then from here, I'm gonna bend in the hips, and I'm gonna bring my hips towards my back heel, and I'm coming to sit on the ground. Nice and chill. So from here, I'm coming to my Janu Shirshasana, which is a fancy way of saying right leg and butterfly, left leg straight, low back level and parallel with the wall behind you. Nice and chill. Reach out to the right hand nice and tall. You're gonna grab a hold of the outside edge of whatever's available to you. Don't stress so much, and I don't want you to push for gold. Like, I can get myself down where my face is close to my knee, but that's actually not productive for my body right now. My body's asking for a little bit more ease than that. So maybe I back off. And I can feel how I can gain a little bit of space at a time more solidly than if I tried to gain a lot of space quickly. Being patient with the step in front of you. Noticing how you can relax behind the neck, how that can bring in more ease. Noticing how the energy runs all the way through the outside edge of the calf and hamstring here, just along that IT band. Noticing how your breath will tell you if you've gone too far into the stretch. And can you remember that there's a lot of space in the back of the heart to breathe into? However, again, if that neck is shortened and pinched off, back out of the stretch because you brought the stretch into your spine instead of in your hamstring. So when that feels good, you're gonna inhale, rolling up to sit tall. And from here, you're bringing this foot in and it's flat. So we've probably done this, if you've been practicing with me for a while, you've done this with me before. Sitting nice and tall, you're gonna flex the right foot. It's actually one of my favorites. Take the left hand and grab a hold of the outside edge of the right foot here. So this is all about drawing the foot in towards the shoulder. This requires a lot of strength. Don't sacrifice the alignment. Keep the arm plugged into the shoulder nice and tall. When you feel good, you're gonna lift the heel up off the earth. So you may hang out right here, that's gonna be just fine. I'm lengthening out of my standing leg is what we'll call this left side here. So as I lift, I'm gonna bring my right arm out in front so I'm nice and square. If this all feels well and good, I'm gonna peel open like a book and notice how tall my spine is. I'm really driving into the earth, the foot kicking into the hand and the hand drawing the foot back. That's what helps me get that tall leverage. If this feels good, you might kick towards straight and find yourself in a beautiful open shape. If you're rounding down in this, you bend the knee and maybe you even back out of the twist a little bit. I would rather you be conscientious to yourself, towards yourself as you step further into a pose than try to go for gold. Break that westernized thought. So when you're ready, you're gonna rebend the knee, return back from the twist, and lower the heel down to the earth. Nice and simple, lengthen out both legs, reach nice and tall. You might have a little bend in the knees here. As long as your spine's able to lift, and let yourself reach as far forward as you can without shortening the neck. When you can't reach any further, let yourself soften into this for a moment. Breathing chill and easy. Aware of the back of the neck and how it can stay lengthening instead of shortening. When it feels good, rolling up to sit tall. You're gonna cross in the legs, come through, plant your hands on the earth, and let yourself find hands and knees nice and chill. Let's take a few cat and cows just to get the spine moving again. A little freer, finding those sticky spots. Let yourself be free form pretty much right away. And when it feels good to you, meet me in a down dog. Let yourself hang out here for a minute. So in the down dog, breathe up through the hands into the hips. And exhale down the backs of the legs. Imagine that inside edge of the thigh spinning to the back wall. Feel how that opens that outside edge of the calf and the hamstring. From here, you're gonna inhale, soften in the knees, gaze towards the hands. You can step, hop, or float to the front of your mat. You're in a forward fold, nice and chill. From here, let's get back into it. Chair pose, nice and chill, sitting back, sweeping it back. Press into the earth. You're gonna bring the hands to heart center. Pour the weight into the right foot. When the left foot is free, you're reaching low and long. Let yourself find the high lunge. Big inhale here. Press into the ball of that back foot, lengthening nice and tall. As you exhale, slide the heel. See if you can deepen just a little bit. So gathering the hips together, feel this nice and tall all the way up through the front of the body. Let that soften and lengthen the back of the neck. As you exhale, you're bringing the hands to heart center. Bring yourself forward for a moment and bring, oh no, we're setting up for airplane. Okay, so get the shoulders on the back of the heart. I was like, why am I blanking on this? Okay, back of the hands, feel this kite shape. Back of the hands, back of the head, back of the heel. Bring your torso in line so all that's ready. This is about kicking into the earth with the right foot, expanding the whole back body to get lighter and lift. When you're ready, you're gonna rock forward, kick into the earth, widen, lengthen, trust it, keep your breath moving. You don't have to have that straight leg, but you do have to stabilize. Hug and plug into your whole frame here. Feel how you're resisting the earth and your breath is still moving. You're stabilized. That expansion keeps your breath open. When you're ready, upper body finds the forward fold. You're in a standing split. Let yourself lower back for the lunge and lower the back knee down. Untuck the toe. Use the prop underneath the knee if you need it. Come on up. As you exhale, extend into the front of the hip. Let yourself have that easy release. From here, plant the hands to frame the front foot. Spin the back shin to be parallel with the short edge of your mat. And come on up for your Peter Pan pose. So in your Peter Pan pose, place the hands on the earth right in front of you. Walk it towards the front of the mat while you ease into that front hip into the front knee with your hips. Feel how this opens the outside or the inside edge of your left leg. Nice and chill as you work. Feel how your energy is disbanding down into the ground through the hands, through the feet, through the knees. Feel that heaviness. When you're ready, you'll come back on up. Give yourself that Peter Pan pose. Lengthen out your right leg to straighten. The left hand comes to the back of the mat. Take the stargazer. Opening up nice and tall, spreading through that right side of the body, pressing left into the earth. And as you exhale, hinge at the hips. Sit back towards the heel and let yourself find your Janu Sirsasana prep, which is sitting with your right leg straight, left leg bent. Hips parallel to the short edge of your mat. Reach out of the left hand, reaching across the body for the outside edge of foot, ankle, or thigh. Let yourself soften in. Relaxing through the back of the neck, through the back of the eyes, through the jaw. Keeping the breath moving as you go. Nice and easy. Knowing the hard work is mostly over. You'll release the hand and bring yourself on up to sit tall. You're going to bring this knee in so the foot is flat. From here, lengthen out of this right leg. It's your standing leg here. So you're flexing in the left foot. Grab a hold with the outside edge of the right hand. Again, this is about plugging the shoulder into the body, kicking the foot into the hand. That resistance lets you bring the foot off the earth. If all is well and good with you, take the left hand and peel it open for that twist. Drive into the earth, open through the top of the head, shoulders on the back of the heart. As you exhale, kick into the heel. Maybe it lets you straighten that leg. It's all about staying open. If you're bending in the spine, if you're rounding at all, back out of what you're doing. Be conscientious towards yourself and know that it's not about forcing yourself into the next step. It's about opening yourself to the next step. That's a thing for life too, not just for yoga. When you're ready, you're going to gently release out of the twist, rebend in the knee if you need it. Let the heel relax down on the earth. From here, sit nice and tall, both legs extend, reaching out of the hands. As you exhale, reach as far forward as you can. And when you can't reach any further, that's when you can soften over. Let this release. Feel like the whole back of the body is getting a chance to surrender into the earth. See if you can soften through the back of the neck. Maybe even let the backs of the hands rest on the earth so your palms up. Feel how the whole back of the arms, back of the shoulder, back of the neck. Let all of that drain down into the earth with your exhales. Nice and easy as you go. Letting things surrender. When you're ready, you're going to walk yourself on up to sit tall. You're going to bring the right leg in so the thighs parallel. The left leg steps to be, place the foot just outside of the right thigh. Now, if this is a little too much for your hips, you can just place the foot just in front of the shin here. That's totally fine. But if you can get there, make sure both sits bones are on the ground. When that's good, right arm hugs the left. And as you exhale, twist over the left shoulder, keeping the spine straight as you go. Pressing into the earth. Inhale, lengthen your spine in both directions. Exhale, deepening your twist. Inhale in. And as you exhale, release the twist. We'll take the open twist from here, leaving the legs where they are. Very regal across the chest, twisting over the right side. Feels like very Maggie Smith and Downton Abbey, you know. Just very poised. Or something. As you exhale, you'll let yourself release back to center. Rock back on the hips and switch sides. So, bringing the left thigh in front of you, place the right foot outside that thigh. Hug it in close with the left arm and inhale for the tall spine. As you exhale, twisting over towards the right side. Giving an inhale in. Exhale, deepening your twist. Easy breath. Exhale, releasing the twist, leave the legs where they are. Open twist for you, over on the left side here. Very regal across the chest, tall spine as you go. It's not about going into some crazy wild twist, it's about just opening the body in this way. As you exhale, release yourself back to center. From here, you're gonna uncross the legs. I'm gonna spin around and lower down, but you can just roll into your back nice and easy. From here, I'm gonna bring the feet outside of hip width apart. So they're to the edges of the mat. I'm laying on the earth, my low back is flat. I'm gonna flex my toes up towards my face. Make sure you can see all this. And in that, I'm gonna move my knees like windshield wipers, just to release the hip sockets, letting everything be easy. And while you're here, I want you to start to ask the body for any final poses, anything that it might want, in addition to what we've already done. Maybe you might want a plow, or maybe a happy baby, or maybe you want to take a bridge. Anything that you've done in a yoga class before that you feel confident and you remember going, oh, I love that. In fact, if you're a new yogi, I want you to decide, what is your favorite pose so far? I want you to make sure that you are taking the time to build up to that pose in your personal practice, because you should have fun stuff, right? So in this easy windshield wipering, you're just letting everything release.
Final things that I'm going to do, I'm going to bring the knees into the chest. I'm going to cross on my ankles. I'm going to make some nice little circles just to massage my low back on the earth, ground my root into the ground, into the mat. Switching, crossing the ankles, switching directions. Easy chill. And before we settle into Shavasana, we're going to first kind of do a little bit of an opposite sort of position because Shavasana is very open and releasing. So first we're going to take a reconstructive pose. So your feet are outside of hip width apart. Your toes will turn into face towards each other. This is going to make the knees fall into rest. This nice inward rotation in the hips. See if you can use that to lengthen your waist out of the pelvis. From here, your arms are going to come long to a T, and as you exhale, you hug them across the body. Just nice and easy to drape. From here, you're going to bring the elbows to cover the face. And feel how you close in. We're taking the end points of your energy and bringing them close. Allowing there to be an opening in the center space. It's a time for you to go inward towards yourself. Let your own internal world become a storm. And as you do so, you welcome that storm in. And allow it to inform you, to empower you. So when it feels good, you can allow your body to release open, bringing the arms to either side, bringing the legs to extend. And we begin to soften into our Shavasana, allowing the front of the body to relax down into the earth, draping down through the back of the body into the ground. Feeling in your exhales a melting, a widening. Feeling in the jaw, the eyes, softening. Allowing everything that is to simply be. Like a river that flows. Despite your control. Free from your control. Rest here for a time. I'll bring you back in a few moments. And gently deepening your next inhale. Softly bring your awareness back into the space around you, becoming aware of the walls that surround you, the ceiling above you, and the floor rising up to meet you, to hold you and support you. Gently you bring movement back into the body by wiggling fingers and toes. And let that slowly grow into circles in the wrists and ankles. And the next thing you know, you're giving a big stretch in all directions. Feeling the edges of you as they come back into the picture. Giving your body a moment to rest. We're going to wake the body slowly by bringing the knees to bend, feet are flat. Bring the arms to a nice goalpost situation in the arms. And feel how the low back can soften into the earth, how that lengthens the spine, how it melts the shoulders wide. And just take a moment to settle.
to bring yourself back into the space that is the middle of your week, the middle of your day. And look how chill you managed to be. I'm so proud of you. So when you're ready, you're gonna make your way over to a fetal position. Resting for a moment, let the head rest on the lower arm. When it feels good, you'll press yourself on up to sitting. And with that, I send you off into the rest of your day, into the rest of your week. You're so settled and centered, and now you're ready to open yourself to whatever comes. And I wish you I actually do feel like a lot more grounded. I feel a lot more at peace than before. I think we all have kind of some chaotic things that are getting kicked up. You know, everybody always has some work on their desk to do, and on a personal front as well as whatever front you've got going on. Every iron in your fire, right? So hopefully you feel the same, and I want to thank you so much for practicing with me. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day accordingly, and remember you can check out more things to do with me on Instagram at MindfulMichael, and be sure that you're taking all the other classes that are happening here at Breakout. If you are somebody who's been a yogi and you're very yoga based, you should check out some dance cardio. And if you are not yoga based and suddenly you find that you are yoga based thanks to yours truly, make sure you share this class with some of your folks that you know are a little yoga hesitant, because I feel like I'm a digestible yogi. Anyway, so with that, I want to thank you so much. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your Wednesday. Thanks for joining me, kiddos, and we'll see you soon. Thanks so much. Peace out, Cub Scouts. Take care.